Hi there, Adam. I'm going to give you my reflection on how our TV studio production went. A 1500. Um, basically, our group decided after quite a long time to do a review show. This wasn't easy because our group didn't have a lot of production meetings to start off with because not a lot of the group were as keen to come into the lectures and outside of the lectures in our own time to do these production meetings. Unfortunately, there were a couple names, couple people that I don't think came to any production meetings, which really had a big impact and which was seen on the day because people didn't really know their roles and they didn't really know what they were doing, which is kind of annoying because some of the group, Lois especially and Aiden and Jonathan, worked really hard into getting what we produced. Unfortunately, the only problem with that was they didn't get enough time to practice their specific roles and made it harder for some of the other lot to take orders from them because they didn't know what they were doing, um, which was shown on the final day because the the stress levels increased a lot, which made everything harder for everyone because everyone was shouting, everyone was stressing out, and it didn't go as swiftly as planned, which made it hard for everyone. So firstly, um, I put my hand up first on the first production meeting we had in a studio time with you, to my group, and I said I would happily do the floor manager because I have previously done that in the ladder ball, which I was very confident with, and I felt that that was a good role for me to play. I chose this role because not only because of my previous experience, also because I enjoy being on the set. So I enjoy helping out with people who want to figure out the lights, which lights to use. I enjoy helping out with where the set should go and what it should look like and what it will look like on camera. I enjoyed setting up the cameras and positioning cameras for everyone. I enjoyed all that kind of floor stuff. I enjoyed especially, and I also enjoy it because it gives me the role to take leadership on the floor instead of back in the backstage kind of thing. Because I get to tell people what to do, even though I'm getting told what to do. I get to tell people what to do almost through my idea with the directors and the producers, which is really fun because then that brings out my imagination and my side and how I also want to see the TV show. Not only that I've had previous experience, I also on the day spoke to you about what would be the best way to do this, and you came up to me and you also said take leadership and tell people backstage what to do and when you're going out for rehearsal. And yes, that was a very good positive learning outcome because now if I do this again, I will be better at it, and that's the whole thing is to be better and better yourself the whole time. And I did enjoy it thoroughly, and next time I think I'll be a lot more confident and I'll be able to lead the studio and help out with producing and directors. I'll help out them a lot easier. It'll be a lot easier to work. Um, on the other hand, being the floor manager came with a lot of responsibilities as well, leading some people not to have as many jobs, which isn't my fault and isn't other people's faults because some people just didn't turn up to meetings, which made it harder for us because that means that we didn't know if they would be as reliable on the day, and we didn't know if they knew what they would do on the day because if they hadn't had training and didn't come to production meetings, who knew what they would do? This meant that we would have to, myself included, had to work on things such as um, for instance, help with scripts, had to help with setting up meetings. Um, I had to help with sets. I had to help with lighting because some people didn't know how to use lighting. Had to help with Jonathan with the mics. Also had to help clip mics, putting on people. and all those kind of things. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing that. But it could have gone a lot swifter if people came to the production meetings and knew what they were doing on the day. But as the way it goes, it's that's the way it went, and that showed through our final piece, as there were a few technical issues, but if we had practiced this and rehearsed this a lot more, these would not happen. And unfortunately, in some cases, such as Chase in the beginning, we can't hear him, and in other cases, you can't hear some of the people, and sometimes the pictures aren't even centered; they're off balanced, and it's not studio standard. It could have been better, and it should have been better, because our group has more than capable people, more than enough capable people who know what they're doing. But unfortunately, when you have a small group of people, you can't really do a lot as compared to when you have a lot of people who are willing to work hard and get a good grade, which showed in the final piece, unfortunately. I looked up on the second production meeting, some floor managerial roles, so what they should do and how they should do the thing, and this was through a site called Prospectus. So this basically it's called prospectus.ac.uk, and basically this tells you all the roles that you're doing. So it's like it tells you how intense the studio will be, how intense like managerial jobs one day postgraduate will be, and how to gain experience as runners and all that kind of cool stuff. This was I thought this was quite a nifty site, because it kind of helps you make sure that you've got kind of like the role nailed down. So you help with sets, you help with prop, you help with technical equipment, make sure everything's safe, make sure everything's in the right position prior to the filming, and you just help out, and you know where everything is linked together between the director and the producers to get everything involved, like all the production on the studio floor, so everything is set how you want it to be. And I really enjoyed this, because this helped me understand a little bit more than the last time that I did it, what to do and how to do it, prior to your bit of help on the day. This was a good piece of literature, because, well, it's not a literature, it's more of a website which can be referenced as well, because if it weren't for that, I wouldn't really know much about the managerial role, unfortunately. And I'll also put in other references in my attached piece of on the Word document attached to this, and the link I'll send you. So I'll move on and say what inspired our show. Well, our show was inspired by a teen kind of review news show that already exists, but ours isn't as as big budgeted, because obviously we can't afford that as much. But we got the color schemes and the setup of the layouts, so like having the TV in the middle and the two sofas next to each other, having people talking towards each other and the camera from previous shows. These were like, we had quite a few. These were news shows and review shows that teens did. Hence the name Roundup Download. So it links to the Roundup all the news, and you can download all the news, which links to, yes, it's also a mature case, but it's also got a younger audience where you can download, and it gives a bigger platform for people to actually get in contact with our review show if it had to happen one day. So you wouldn't only have to go on a live stream to watch it, you could also download it through social media and other platforms, which made it really interesting, and that was our initial idea. However, unfortunately, with certain people not turning up, it didn't work as well as we planned. But the initial idea of the whole project and working in the studio, I thought went pretty well for what we had and who we had, especially on some equipment. Especially some people give credit where credit's due. Some people had never been in the TV studio and used some of the equipment that they used, so they had to learn. Yes, they could have come to production meetings, but still learned and did okay for themselves. And I respect some of the people, because they actually worked hard, and you could see that in some people's work. You could tell who was the last minute, and you could tell who was there at every production meeting, and that shows through the work. Moving on, what I would do differently next time. Well, I would probably be a lot more stern and strict on the group, saying we need to have more than one production meeting a week where everyone turns up, because in this case we should have had at least 2 a week, because 1 week or 1 day of the week wasn't enough because people made excuses and they couldn't come. If you had 2 days of a week, there's no excuse, you should be there. This would mean I would have to take more of a leading role and tell people what to do and when to do it. I would like to have probably had more studio time to rehearse as a group and individually, so we all knew our roles and I knew my role throughout. That would make it a lot easier on the day. However, I thought that the TV studio itself went really well. The stress came from behind the scenes at the back room, where people were shouting. There were too many people and everyone was getting a bit crazy, and that's when people overlapped each other and caused arguments on the day, which was unfortunate because that made it very tense and awkward for everyone, and therefore stressed those people out, leading to some people not having a single role for the first few run-throughs. Which means I would personally, I tried to speak to one person in the group and said, we need to give you a role, can you come help you? Can you come help me here? Come help me do this. Unfortunately, that person was, no, I'm going to make a statement. I want someone to see me. I want you to see me, talking about you, Adam, saying that I want him to see me, that I don't have a role because so-and-so didn't give me a role, which is unfortunate because in those scenes you have to take responsibility for your work, and you have to take responsibility for who you are in this role, and you've just got to do it. There's no sulking and being upset about not having a role. You go speak to your producer or your director or your floor manager and go speak to him and say, listen here, I need a role. So that's what I would do differently next time. I would open up more easily and say, we need to give you a role. Let's give everyone a role and make it fair. That's what I would also like to prepare myself a lot more for the production side of it and the floor managerial side of it. So I'd like to work harder and know what I'm doing throughout. So next time I can go in and be a lot more confident and smash it, basically. So that's what I did. That's what the group did, our team. Unfortunately, as I said, the final piece wasn't too great due to technical issues, but I still enjoyed it. I had a really good time working with certain people. I can learn out of this that some people I won't work with doing broadcast and production roles because they don't seem as keen and interested. Therefore, I rather want myself to be at a lower risk of doing worse. Sorry. And meaning that I want to produce a higher piece of content that's studio quality. But yeah, besides from that, I had a good time. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed filming. It's been a very good year, and I enjoyed working with some certain new people from film and media. And I would definitely work with some of them again, like I said, but some of them I would think twice and maybe not. But besides from that, I just want to say thank you for your time, for watching this, and I hope you have a good time. And I hope you... Wow, that was bad. And I hope everything's okay. No. And I hope you have a good day.